Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle DeTeach, or Coach Danny D, and I help women to create luxury brands by creating processes and tightening their branding. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease and enjoy your life. My happy space is spending as much time as humanly possible in my pajamas. And I want to help others to find their happy space while still running profitable businesses. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello, and welcome to episode 24 of the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danny D. And I'm also the owner of Workflow, where I help small businesses to play big. The Profits in Pajamas podcast is all about the principles and some of the, tips to creating that work with ease lifestyle. So as an entrepreneur, when you're starting out your business, of course, you're in that growth phase and everything is, hectic and you're trying to figure all the things out, right? But as your business grows, you should not stay in that hustle and bustle phase. You shouldn't be in survival mode all the time. You should be able to get to a point where you can create some, consistency, some sustainable practices within your business to continue to grow it so that you can have a profitable business, but that you can also have a, life as a business owner, and you can have a fulfilled life. So today's episode, I want to talk about purpose. I want to talk about, are you walking in your purpose on purpose? And the reason why I want to, talk about that is, a lot of times we are just kind of going through the motions of life. There may be something that we're passionate about, and there may be, a purpose that we're charged with, but we may not be living in that purpose. We may be allowing other things to overshadow that purpose. We may be, if I want to be, really candid, I think, regardless of what the reason we tell ourselves, I think it all boils back down to fear. So that purpose can be, heavy. That purpose can be weighty when we really look at what, our lives have been charged with. If that is, helping other people, if that is, stepping into fully into our greatness, and setting an example, whatever that looks like, oftentimes we allow our fear to help us distract ourselves from that purpose, that greater purpose. So, sometimes that looks like filling up your schedule and then saying, oh, well, I'm too busy to work on X, Y, and Z. Well, if we really look at that schedule, if we really look at the things that we have made a priority, are they really a priority, or are they, some, comfortable time wasting activities? Do they give us that safety and comfort of knowing that we can, we can appear to be too busy, and and ultimately, we're telling this story to others, but we're also telling it to ourselves. So at some point we're not being honest with ourselves about why we're really engaging in so many of these other activities that are not aligned with our purpose. um Sometimes it's facing the the gravity of it all, just knowing, I know for me, it can feel weighty sometimes, like, you just used to living, existing, and then when someone, approaches you and is saying that, oh, well, you're an inspiration, or, I didn't quit because because I saw you, or because I, I felt like you kept going, so I kept going. And sometimes that responsibility can be heavy. And, if I'm being honest, sometimes, it just feels like, okay, I'm just trying to manage life and live through life. And, you know, feeling that, weight can be heavy sometimes, but it also is rewarding in the sense that, knowing that something that you did and something, the accomplishment of it, I guess, in the sense that something that you did that you were probably intimidated in doing, a moment when you wanted to back up, but you kept going forward, may be the thing that helps the next person to do the same thing. And, there's something, that is definitely rewarding in that. But ultimately, I just feel like as, I'm a faith-based person, a believer, and I believe that if God gave me this assignment, then me not stepping into it fully is being disobedient. And it's not always easy. It's not always an easy thing um to swallow. It's not always an easy thing to step into, but it's what we're called to do. So you're called to carry out this assignment, whatever this assignment may be, whatever it looks like for you, that's what you're called to do. And we have to walk in our purpose on purpose, not just by happenstance, not just because, a big part of it is just being who you are. So sometimes we are carrying out some of the missions of our purpose just by being ourselves, but we have to walk in it with purpose. And, the last couple of weeks for me have been, really, really interesting. I probably say the last month or so have been really interesting because I kind of felt a shift in energy, and I brought that energy with me everywhere that I was going. And during that time period, I've made some really amazing connections with people. And I've, I felt that when I leaned into that energy instead of shying back from it, that there really was like some magic that happened, both in my interactions with people, um, just overall in my, confidence in walking in my purpose. So I'm, sharing this because I want you to, if you are feeling the same way or have felt the same way, I want you to, really look at leaning into it. Stop shying back from it and lean into it because I mean it's a process. This journey is not one day, it's not one moment. You are going to go through ebbs and flows. And there have been times where I felt really, aligned with my purpose. There have been times where I felt it in me, but I did not necessarily feel like I was, leaning into it in the way that I could. So I want you to think about, one, what is that purpose? Because sometimes we may not know. Sometimes we may not know, and that may be something that you need to sit with, pray on, meditate on. What is that purpose? What does that look like for you? And once you have connected with that purpose, then lean into it because, that purpose, that assignment was given to you specifically for a reason. And when the thing that I, have been reminding myself as I'm pushing myself to keep leaning in, the thing that I keep reminding myself is every time you lean fully into that purpose, someone becomes attracted to that energy. And ultimately, that was that person was one of your people, one of the people that you were responsible for, one of the people that needed that in that moment. And if you're not showing up in that moment, that person is still waiting. That person is still in need because they needed to see that purpose in you. And that purpose may be connected to your business, it may be something totally different. It may be just how you walk, it may truly be just how you walk. Um, Initially, I think, when I first realized that there was a greater purpose, it wasn't connected. At that time, I was, I wasn't coaching, I was just working in balloons. And I had someone approach me at an event, it was, a networking slash vending event. And I had someone approach me and tell me about how my journey helped them to keep going when they were struggling in their business. Again, at that time I wasn't coaching. I wasn't working on workflow. It was an idea, you know, but it had not been fleshed out. It had not been formalized. I was just trying to navigate being an entrepreneur and growing my business with the audience that I wanted to serve. But that that in and of itself, in walking that walk, in doing those things that were scary to me, in pulling myself out of my comfort zone, I was inadvertently discovering my purpose, and that was to help other women entrepreneurs, especially those in creative spaces, to pursue their dreams and to know that their their dream, their passion could be more than just a side hobby or a side hustle or a hobby, that it could be a actual business, that they could take care of their families, that they could, you know, dream the big dream and do the big thing. And that uncovered as a purpose for me, that I really was just trying to navigate my own stuff. But sometimes in you being and in you navigating your own journey, you are an inspiration to someone else who may not have thought that they could do it. And that's the main thing that I always want to leave people with is, if you took nothing from me about anything else, is that you can, that possibility exists for you and for anybody else who wants to work for it. The possibility is there, and it's not limited to a certain set of people, or this person has some special something that makes them more qualified than you. It's not about that at all. Yes, we all have different talents. Yes, we all have, certain natural abilities. And there may be a specific industry that is more, that you're more keen to than maybe the next person. But as far as the possibility and the ability to do, great things, huge things, that's yours. That's yours. You have that ability, you have that possibility, but it is going to require you to step out of some comfort zones. It's going to require you to stretch yourself in some ways that you may be avoiding. It's going to require you to sit in some self-work, because at the end of the day, as you go through this journey, especially as an entrepreneur, but just as a human being person, it's going to require you to step into, that introspective part of yourself and look at where you can develop, where you can grow, what hangups are holding you back. It's going to require all of that. But that is not, that is only the work that you have to do. That is not a barrier. That is not stopping you. That is just a part of the process. So you have the ability to, totally just kill it in whatever it is that your purpose is, and whatever it is that you want to pursue. And, you have the ability to step fully into your greatness, but you have to believe it. You have to believe it, and you have to be committed to that purpose and committed to undoing all of the little, um, for lack of a better way of saying it, all of the little lies that you're telling yourself that's keeping you from focusing on that purpose. So you have to be able to be so fully honest with yourself, nobody else. The rest of us are doing our own thing. So, whether or not you're being honest with us is gonna be irrelevant. I mean, we'll believe you if you say you're too busy. I mean, I might not. I'm that coach. I'm a question it. But you gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta be able to tell yourself, I'm not too busy. Or tell yourself, you know what? You are distracting yourself. You are making yourself busy. You are avoiding that thing that you need to lean into. So that honesty conversation is, it's again not a one-time conversation. It is something that you're going to continually have with yourself. And it is, basically just, I saw a meme today that said something about looking fear in her face. And that's what you're doing, because she's going to tell you, last week I did a whole episode about fear, and I think of her as a person. She's going to tell you all the things to stop you. But every time you look her in her face and say, you know what, let me show you something. Every single time that you do that, then she starts to fall back into her proper role. Because then she realizes, you know what, maybe I'm overreacting over here. Maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I need to sit down and I need to calm down and stop trying to run this show. So have that honest conversation with yourself. What is your purpose? And two, how can you then start working in that purpose? How can you eliminate those things that are keeping you from walking in that purpose? So that's what I have for you guys today. I'll, want to see you back next week. If you missed that episode on fear, it was a really good one. So I want you to go back and catch that episode about putting fear back in her proper place. Today is going to be the goal setting workshop. So if you haven't signed up for that, you still have time to sign up for it. This is going to be this evening, and that's going to be very exciting. And just stay tuned for, and I'll put the link to that in the bio. Just stay tuned for a couple of things that are going to be rolling out this week. So if you're not on my mailing list, I want you to go ahead and join, because that's the first place that I share information. So I want you to go ahead and sign up for that mailing list so that you can be the first to know about new things that are happening within workflow. If you are in that space in your life where you're trying to figure out that purpose, what that journey is going to look like, go ahead and book a discovery call. You can book a discovery call and we can talk about where you are. And then, I'm going to recommend to you what are the avenues that we have available for you to go down that process. And, I've been there, still there because, like I said, it's not a one-time conversation. It is something that is ongoing, and you got to keep in that vein of making sure that you're staying focused and that you're staying in alignment. But it does help. I work with coaches, and it helps when you have someone else there to, one, give perspective, but two, in certain moments, call out. Wait, is that somewhere that you're hiding? Is that somewhere that you're avoiding? So if that's you, go to coachdannyd.com, and you can book a discovery call, and we can get the journey started. Because, you know, as much as there is a little bit of sometimes it can be, heavy as far as the level of responsibility. There's also just so much fulfillment in walking in your purpose on purpose. So have a good rest of your week. As always, go out and do something in your business to play big. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with ease. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram. For more information about building your luxury brand, register for my upcoming luxury brand workshop at coachdannyd.com.